Welcome everybody to the Sport Aces podcast. I know you see everything cavaliered out. Cavs clinched the playoffs. Tom, I know you sitting there saying you ain't a real fan. Screw you, dude. Cavs all day. Let them know. The land, we lit. Fuck what y'all talking about. We're going all the way, baby. Now y'all were talking shit about the Cavs not going all the way, baby. Don't worry. We got something for Boston. We got something for the Knicks. Pacers, get the fuck out the way, baby. That's how I'm feeling today, baby. Tom, how you
Pacers.
feeling?
Pacers. Why are you worried about the Pacers, bro?
Cause you
Why,
know the
why,
Pacers are always a sneaky
why you
team.
got the Pacers on your mind, bro? You
You
ain't
never,
gotta worry
you
about
never
the Pacers.
know. You never know. You never know.
You ain't gotta worry about the Pacers. But yeah, I'll give credit where credit's due. Cleveland, they've been surprised a lot of people, bro. I mean, they're looking good. It's just, can you get past Boston? That's the question. You saw last
Yeah.
night Pritchard and Derek White, not considered top scorers on the Celtics. Both dropped 40. We know Pritchard can do that. I didn't think Derek White was be dropping 40, but they were 19 threes between the two of them. All I'm gonna say, bro, the Celtics better be getting ready to make pay out some serious because if Pritchard goes somewhere else, bro, he might be a 20 point per game guy. Like if you give him a starting job, yeah, we ain't gonna get into it right now, but yeah. I mean, we'll see. Dude, I'm excited though. I'm excited to see how this NBA season is going to shape up. I mean, the East is, the East. They got their three, maybe two clear-cut contenders. I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks, so they'll probably mess it up. So, and out West, this is going to be tough, bro. Like if the Cavs make the finals, I mean, if the Cavs find their way to the team out West, I don't know, man. There's a lot of tough teams out there, including our Lakers over there. They've been hot.
Yeah, man, and it's crazy. We just had to start NBA first. I know everybody wondering why we didn't go straight to football. We had to talk about the NBA
Hey,
because a
listen,
lot happened. A
listen.
lot has happened.
Football is over. Football is over. I know
Yeah,
there's a lot of news. I know there's a lot of trades. I know there's a lot that's been happening. But right now it's basketball season and the playoffs are around the corner. So this is the most prevalent information that we need to talk about.
man, like the Western Conference, man, it's crazy how things really changed. Like the Lakers is in the second seed now. They control their destiny, and it's like they are scary when Luka and LeBron is on together. Like that's a dangerous team. And these guys that's on the team, Austin Reeves, Rui, Dorian Finney-Smith, they really contributing, as much as they can to help
Listen,
with the win. So I'm
it's
really,
complimentary role players, man.
but the only thing I'm really worried about with the Lakers is when you get in the playoff time, a lot of teams is different when they go in the playoffs. So my biggest concern is, can they keep this energy up?
I mean, listen, you got two of the best playoff performers in NBA history on the same team. Like those guys turn it up. And yeah, I know. Listen, I know it's bold to call Luka one of the best playoff performers, but he's proven then and again. He dragged the Mavericks to the finals last year. He performs better in the playoffs. And LeBron obviously is LeBron. Like we know that he drops crazy numbers in the playoffs, just like at 2018. But anyway, yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they got Austin Reeves has been playing fantastic. Like he's that guy that I think can be an X factor in a playoff series. And obviously there's the center situation's a little bit fuzzy in LA. Jackson Hayes. He's been playing all right. He's been playing his role. I like what he's done. Obviously it sucks that the Mark Williams trade didn't work out for them
Yeah,
because if they had Mark Williams, man. Oof. I mean,
it would
connect
be
that
different.
respect to Dolan Connect though. He's been putting up some decent performances the past couple games. And I mean, if I was a guy that got traded away like my first year with the team, like not even a full year, Like that would ruin me mentally for sure. And like this is a team that, gave up on me when I'm developing and trading me away to one of the dumpster fires of the league in Charlotte. So it's like compliments to him for coming back and just really playing a good role off the bench and doing what he can to get some minutes really.
Indeed, indeed, man. It's just, it's like I just really want the Lakers, and it's crazy, man, because the bigs is a questionable part about the Lakers team. Because if they face a team with a true big, it's gonna be problems for them. But besides the Lakers, the Mavericks, Kyrie's out for season. I don't think Anthony Davis is gonna come back this season. I think they just gonna probably shut him down. At this point, what should the Mavs do going forward?
Fired Nico Harrison, bro. Like I'm, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like he just brings bad luck and bad karma to the team.
Jesus, man, everybody trying to
Like
get him
if
out
you
of.
look, like there was a post. I'm sure if y'all follow ESPN on Instagram or any of those NBA related accounts, it just started all literally the first day that this trade was processed and Anthony Davis was on the court, immediately injured. Next game, Daniel Gafford gone. They already were missing Derek Lively. There's another guy gone. And then Kyrie Irving, because of all those guys being out, has to take a bigger offensive load and play more minutes. He was playing the most minutes in the league after the All-Star break. And he's 30, was he 35, 34 years old? He can't do that anymore. Like he can perform at a high level and put up numbers for you, but you need somebody to take the offensive load off of him. And they didn't have anyone. Klay Thompson, he ain't even a factor anymore. Like he sucks. I mean, all respect to Klay Thompson. He was great for 10 plus years with the Warriors. You might as well just hang it up at this point because he is not a factor. He's not a scoring option really anymore. I mean, now he kind of has to be because I don't got anybody else. But
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
Max
if I
Christie got to
yeah,
step it up too.
I like Max Christie though. He's a young guy and he can score. He can score the ball. So I think that's a guy that they're going to look to next year. Like, I mean, if you're the Mavs, you got obviously you're going to want to shut down. I would agree with that. I would shut down Anthony Davis. Like, you're not making the playoffs now. You don't have like even with Anthony Davis back in the lineup, like you might have a chance to like make the play in and make like the 8 seed, but you're not making it. You're not making it to the finals. Like, you might as well just shut him down, let him get healthy. Because he had after the new when the new year came, he started to have injury troubles again because he was out. He was injured when they traded him, and then he came back and got injured again. Came back too soon. I would try to develop Max Christie into a third option if I were them. Make him take Clay's spot in a way. Because Clay will probably play a couple more years as like a complementary piece. But I mean, if you're bringing out next year, you're bringing out Kyrie if whenever he comes back, because he's going to be out probably till December, unfortunately. So you bring out Kyrie when they're fully healthy, Max Christie, Klay Thompson, Derek Lively, and Anthony Davis. That's a pretty damn good starting five right there. Like that is a contending team with
I'm
those five
assuming
guys.
Gafford's still there and PJ Washington's still there too.
Yeah, Washington and Gafford. Like Gafford can come off the bench, or they start Gafford over Lively. Lively was playing well with the second unit, so I mean, Lively's just a good defensive complement off the bench. And PJ Washington, I think you might put him at power forward, but I think Anthony Davis really wants to be the four. Like in the one game that he played at the four with them, man, 24 in the first half, like he was balling. He was hooping. I
That's
think he
why
wants
that's
to
why
be
he was
the four.
fits well for it, man. And even besides the Mavs, man, another team that's really been doing good, winning lately. Um, the Warriors, post trade, they was down in the play, and now they reached the sixth seed.
The one thing I want to mention about that is I love how everybody was shit talking Steph Curry this year when he was having those struggling performances. Like if you actually watch a game, if you watched a game pre Jimmy Butler trade, this man was getting doubled the second he crossed the half court line. Like even before that, like what is he supposed to do? Like he's not young anymore. He's like 35. I mean, and you saw the other night he dropped 56. Like the guy can flat out hit. He can still drop 50.
I think the reason why people shit talk Curry, and it's the same way they was doing with LeBron, LeBron KD. I think when we look at those three guys, and I think when we look at their team situations, it's like before the trade, it's like the Lakers could be a playoff team, but they was in the play-in trying to fight for a play-in spot, fighting to get the fifth, sixth seed, right? The Warriors, they was down in the play-in. They was trying to fight to get a play-in spot because what was their identity. Like Curry wasn't playing as great as was. So it was just like to a normal fan, you would think, oh, Curry is being washed, you know? And then KD, the Sun situation, I think to this day now, like the Sun situation, man, I think he need to go ahead and ask for a trade in the offseason, in my personal opinion,
The Suns are just a
because
dumpster fire,
it's
man.
just it's just another team and another
It's just
dumpster
frustrating.
fire he's in. That's like he's trying to do his best, but like the ownership, the team, is just not a good fit for him. Now, even now, like yesterday performance, he lit up the floor. KD lit up the floor. Steph Curry. Now you're seeing Steph Curry is like lighting up now. Curry is joining it because now you have another counterpart in Jimmy Butler there with you. LeBron looking a little bit more happier because you have Luca now. And like
Oh,
he just
LeBron.
help you out with a
Oh,
couple more
LeBron's
years.
been putting up better numbers than Luca. Like this man,
Yeah.
he's
But
dropping
but
like
but he helping him get him a more couple years to play now because the whole workload don't have to be all on LeBron sometimes.
I mean, going back to Steph Curry. I mean, if you look at like I got his numbers pulled up since the All-Star break. Like he against the Kings, 20 points, Mavericks, 30 points, Hornets, 15 points, because he only played 24 minutes. Magic, 56, 76ers, 26 points. Hornets again, 21 points. Knicks, 28 points. Like his 3-point percentage has gone through the roof since the All-Star break. He's probably averaging about, I mean, he's averaging 24 on the season. If you take out those games with the Hornets where, he wasn't playing much because it's the Hornets, like Jimmy Butler, man, like even though he doesn't put up like scoring numbers like he used to, like he makes an impact. Like him and Draymond, bro, like they are already best friends. Like you can see it. Like they're all on the bench, like game planning together, and they're just like they're a match made in heaven. Like that was a great trade for both parties. I think Jimmy Butler seems a lot happier to be away from that Miami Heat situation. And I mean, the Warriors have obviously benefited from it. So I think, I mean, if you look at Steph Curry, like he's still shooting about 40% from three this year. And that's a down year for the guy. So, and that's a career best for a lot of players. So, I mean, yeah. And then you mentioned the Suns, like they just blow it up, man. Like there was a stat I saw. It was like when they had, I think it was DeAndre Ayton, KD, Book, Chris Paul, and I think it was one more. They were 8-0, and then they blew it up, traded for Bradley Beal. Like, what is management thinking when they decide to do that trade? Like Bradley Beal, great scorer. He's not going to complement with two. They already have two players on the team that are better than him. Bradley Beal has been used to being the best player on his team.
I think their idea for Bradley Beal at the time of the trade, they thinking they're gonna get all-star Bradley Beal from the Wizards in their mind. Because when you think about Bradley Beal, when you had John Wall as a counterpart, Bradley Beal played good. So they was thinking maybe we get him with KD and Devin Booker. He's going to contribute as another 15 points a game score, maybe more, depending on the situation. Because you look at what you have. You got KD. KD could give me 25 or 22 a game. Devin Booker could give me 20 a game. And Bradley Beal could give me 15 or 17 or 18 a game. That's perfect. And they mind on paper, that's how it's supposed to look. But
That's
what
what you
happened was your first fuck up was you should have seen disaster when you didn't build enough chemistry for KD and Booker because they was out with injuries, so they wasn't on the court at the same time. And then when they was on the court at the same time in the playoffs, it didn't look like they was in sync. So then you make this trade, and all of a sudden you think these three guys are going to be, oh, they're going to have chemistry instantly. Problem is, wasn't Bradley Beal injured when he first got there, right? So then you don't have him there. Then he come in the picture, and Bradley Beal is getting that rust off. He gotta find his rhythm, and it's tough because you're not seeing the team in sync, and that's the problem. And then you change coaches, see maybe there's a coaching thing. And even now, it's like the problem is it's always going to be the chemistry. They don't have no good chemistry with each other. And I think the problem with ownership, they trying to force a big three situation where this big three situation is not good. Like this is not a good big three. You can't force a big three because of the names. It's not never gonna work. Cause I give you a prime example. This is like the Houston Rockets in 1998, 1999. If anybody remember, you got Hakeem Olajuwon, but you had Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen. Who the hell want to see those big three? Like nobody don't want to see that. So it's
didn't
kind
they
of feeling like that with the Suns.
did they have Clyde too, or was
I
he gone?
think I think so. I think Clyde was on the team.
Nah,
I'm
he retired the 97-98 season, so he was done. But he was on the Rockets 97-98. So you were talking 98-99, right?
yeah,
That was yeah, he retired the year before.
yeah. So it's just like, you see that roster, like a lot of ownership, and I think the ownership has to do better understanding like certain guys is not going to be a good fit with other players sometimes. So hopefully they find a change in that. Um, but besides the NBA, man, before we jump way into these NFL news that's been happening these past couple of days, just to recap the combine, I would be honest, I watched the combine. The thing that really grinds my gears about the combine every year, they always try to paint somebody's development when they don't work out. I feel, and I'm gonna say this, I feel like people is trying to find a reason to not like Shador Sanders. And the crazy thing is, I don't think it's nothing to deal with Shador. I think it's with Deion Sanders more so than anything. Because you don't like Deion Sanders, you're gonna find a reason to dislike Shador. Now, it was reports that Thomas Shea said, he looked like he was disinterested in teams that was interviewing him. But think about the teams who was interviewing him in the top like 10. Like, why am I interviewing with the Patriots? You already have Drake May. Like, what am I gaining? Like, you're not gonna pick me. Certain teams they already have like a quarterback. Why am I like even in the interview with them? You know? It's
Yeah,
just interesting.
there's yeah, I mean, I agree with you that people like to, paint
Yeah,
certain
like
certain people as a villain. And it's just because Deion Sanders has such like a his personality and the way that he like presents himself to others. I mean, he's just a very confident and he's a very love he just wants what's best for his kid at the end of the day. Like if you're an NFL dad and your kid like Shador is gonna be like your son's gonna be an NFL player. Like he's got the Deion Sanders gene. You have to consider the fact that this kid has Deion Sanders' DNA like coded into him. And Deion obviously was one of the best NFL players we've ever seen. Like obviously his son is going to have similar mannerisms to his dad because he looks up to his dad. I mean, his dad was his coach. Like imagine you were born and you're Deion Sanders' kid. Like you have expectation to uphold. It's like the same thing. It's the same thing as being. I'm not gonna compare Bronny and Deion and Shador, but it's like Deion was at the top of his sport when he played. So it's like I mean Shador. Like I mean I don't know. It's just I mean I'm looking at a mock draft. I mean I'm still seeing Shador at the top of mock drafts. Like I wouldn't want my kid going to a dysfunctional organization either. Like it's just gonna ruin his development. Like you see like I mean, yeah, there's some quarterbacks that come into the league and they just don't want to put in the work. Like say a Jamarcus Russell. Guy has all the talent in the world at LSU, does nothing in the NFL because he just doesn't have that work ethic. But I think what people are misinterpreting about Shador Sanders is he's gonna work hard. Like you think Deion's not instilling that in his players? Like if you just watch a Deion Sanders, like he trains his athletes to be professionals. Like that's what he does. Like anybody that you like, even Jimmy Horn, for example. Like Jimmy Horn, great receiver. I think he's going to be a great receiver in the NFL. I really do. And nobody's really talking about him.
I
I think Jimmy
think
Horn's going to be a sleeper.
I think these Colorado wide receivers, man, I think they might be the underrated receivers in this draft class because I think
It's just like,
people ain't gonna see it.
well, it's just like anybody anybody that's come from Deion Sanders, like Travis Hunter, dude. Like he's gonna be so like obviously Travis Hunter was already a top prospect. Like we knew he was gonna be coming like out of high school. Like we knew he was gonna be an NFL player. But now that he's gone and he's learned the position of corner from one of the best to ever do it, like this guy's gonna come in and make an impact. He's gonna make an impact no matter where he goes. Like even if he's not playing both sides of the ball. Like the kid, like he wants to. Like, you hear him in his interviews, he wants to play both sides of the ball, and he's confident that he's the best there is at both sides of the ball. And he wants to be like he wants to be the next Deion. He wants to be the next Deion Sanders. He might not come out and say it, but I mean, wherever Travis goes, man, like he's fallen a little bit in mock drafts,
I but I
but
can see why they trying to fall him down. I think because with the Titans having the number one pick, I think the Titans gonna fuck around and trade. I think the Titans might trade that pick. They're gonna trade that pick and get a good amount of value from that picks
yeah, I
for
mean,
that
I've
number
already
one pick
seen.
to trade down a little bit.
Listen, bro, I've already seen some reports that the Jets are talking about trading for that pick. I really, really, really hope we don't do that because we have a good
I
pick right.
don't think the Jets should even entertain that. I think the
I don't
Jets is
either.
in a good position where they're at because you can get a good draft steal where y'all at. I
Well, it's
think the
like,
Giants is going to pursue them more for that number one pick.
yeah, I mean, the Giants are at 3, so it's like I could see maybe like, say a quarterback needy team that's like kind of low in the draft. Like say the Saints have a little bit of like a few questions at quarterback. Like we don't know who's going to be in there. Is it Derek Carr? Is it Spencer Rattler? Like we don't know who's going to be coming out for them next year. So maybe they move up and try to make a move. Or even the Brown I mean the Browns are already up there. But you never know. Like someone like the number one pick obviously we've seen has a lot of value attached to it. So, I mean you never know what's going to happen. But I think if I'm a Titans GM, I'm keeping the pick, bro, because you have a chance to pick up some possibly franchise changing players. Like scouts scouts and people that attended the combine are raving about Cam Ward. Like they are raving about him. And obviously we know that scouts are not always correct, but I say take a chance on Cam Ward. Why not? What do you if you're the Titans, what do you have to lose? Like really? Like you're already at the bottom of the league as it is. Like who cares? Take a shot. Take a
They
shot on
gonna
Cam
do.
Ward. Develop him. Give him a couple of years to get acclimated to the league. Titans have always been like ever since like I've been like a fan of the NFL, which is probably from when I was like 8 or 9 years old, consistently watching. The Titans always have they have like an up and down cycle. Like sometimes like a couple years ago with Derrick Henry, they made an AFC championship game. Like you just never know. Like, they're not
Let's
one of
not
those teams
forget
that's
it's
in
the Chris
purgatory.
Johnson era and the
Yeah,
Steve
Chris Johnson.
McNair.
Yeah. Like the Titans have always been like they haven't been like terrible. But they've never been like a team that stays in like a purgatory state, like a team that always sucks, like as a perennial loser. Because they always find a way to get out of it, is what I'm trying to say. And they have a decent defense, so
Yeah, man. And besides the combine NFL draft, man, before the draft, you got free agency. Bengals tag T Higgins. So
well, we
it's
knew that
like,
was gonna happen.
yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, tag. So now that
Again,
made Chris Godwin, the number one receiver and number three ranked
if the
in
Bucks get
the
rid of him, they're
200.
stupid.
Sam Donald. I mean, where do Sam Donald go? It's a lot. It's an interesting like class of like free agents now.
Well, we can already talk about one move that was made. We can talk about Debo to the Commanders. That's an interesting one, and I'm excited to see. I really like that move for the Commanders. They got him for next to nothing. So
My only concern is Debo is gonna help them or he's gonna hurt them.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Chris. There's in my mind, there's no way that Debo can hurt them. They don't have a second guy. Like De'Ami Brown started to get going, but like I feel like Debo's only an asset to them. And I really don't think that he can really. It's not like they paid a lot for him. They didn't. They gave up what a fifth round pick for him,
Hmm.
and he was in a dysfunctional offense last year where people were coming in and out, and Brock Purdy wasn't the player that we saw last year. And obviously Debo, like there was a lot. I think him being out of San Francisco will benefit him greatly. I think it's like when you trade a player that was in a shitty situation and then they just bloom the next season. I think that's what deep and he's coming into a team that's hungry and ready and they want to get back to the NFC Championship again. Like they have a great young quarterback. I think him and Jane Daniels will have a really nice connection. Obviously, Terry McLaurin's still going to be the number one, but I think Debo's going to complement him well. He'll take the problem with the Commanders, I think, this year, if there was one thing that I could criticize, was that they didn't have a lot of offensive like firepower to take the defense's eyes off of Terry McLaurin. Like obviously Zach Ertz like performed pretty well because he
But
was
like that number two wide receiver option,
yeah,
it's like,
the defenses were able to plan for Terry McLaurin. Like you saw the
oh
Eagles,
my
the Eagles were able to
God.
lock him down.
Yeah,
Able to lock him
man.
down.
That was the thing about this season with Terry. It's like for anybody who bets, it was like you don't know if you want to put money on Terry because you never know what day you're gonna get with
I mean,
Terry.
even the thing is, even with all that defensive focus, he still had the best year of his career. So
Yeah, he did.
what I'm saying is, like when you have another dynamic offensive playmaker like Debo on your team, like I think Terry McLaurin, he's probably going to be one of a top receiver again next year.
I think another guy that's on this, sorry, another guy that's out there that people kind of need to look at, and he requested a trade,
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, because I think the Broncos and Packers might go hard for it
Yeah, I
because
mean,
I think the
you
Broncos
need
will
they need to give
because
Jordan Love another option, bro.
I think the reason why the Packers might go at him a little bit more because I think the Packers realize we're gonna need another guy besides the guys we already have. You know, we need a DK Metcalf. The Broncos, you pair DK Metcalf and
Important son.
yeah, like you put them two together, that's like damn physical receivers at the
You think
X and
you
Y.
think you think about DK and the Broncos, you'd have Sutton on one side, absolute tall, physical jump ball wide receiver, and then you got DK on the other side, obviously big, physical, fast. And then you got Marvin Mims to complement both of them. He was coming on a little bit. He's a quick, speedy guy. It's just
Oh,
like,
and let's not forget, um, his Oregon counterpart that played with him, Troy Franklin.
yeah.
That's another guy as well.
Bronco, listen, the Broncos can make some serious,
They
serious moves.
can make moves though. They can make some moves.
The Broncos have a chance to
$40 million in open salary cap. They could.
give give Bo Nix another weapon. I mean, I think the Broncos need to address the running back room first, though.
I mean, what running backs are you feeling though? Like in this free
I,
agency, like is it
I'm not talking about free agency. I'm saying like they get
or in the
somebody
draft?
from like the third and like the second or third round. There's some good backs, man. There's some good backs coming out this year. Like you got obviously Genty, you got Omarion Hampton. I think Ollie Gordon's going to be in the draft. I'm not sure if he
No,
went.
he is. He is.
Yeah,
I think Gordon had pretty good combine performance. I think just this past season with new O line, I think his production value went
yeah, but
down tremendously.
Oklahoma State was terrible this year. I'm not going to put that all on him. Like, yeah, he had a down year, but Ollie Gordon, dude, he's explosive.
Oh no, I know that. I was just saying, like, for the production that
Mhm.
people were trying to expect
No, I
for
know what you're
him the
saying. Yeah,
previous season.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I feel like the Broncos is at 20. So, in my opinion, I can see the Broncos where the mock draft from CBS they have Costa Loveland, Titan from Michigan, or they could mess around and get Tyler Warren from Penn State tight end.
I have this is where is this from? This is NFL.com. I think this was yesterday. They have the guy Nick Amanawari from South Carolina, the safety. He's been that would be a crazy secondary with him and Justin Simmons. This mock draft has Tetaroa and McMillan dropping to 19. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think, in my
He goes
opinion,
to if Tetaroa and McMillan drops all the way to the Buccaneers pick, oh my, that's gonna be oof.
that's gonna be a steal. I'm
That would
just
be
saying
a huge mistake.
that
That would be a huge mistake if they let him drop all because he's a good receiver. Like he's gonna come out. I think
because
another I
if
think
he
another
fall out
guy
top
to
10,
watch.
it's crazy.
I think another guy to watch is there's two actually. Will Johnson from Michigan. I think he's gonna be a good pro. Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren gives me he's not Brock Bowers, but he gives me Brock Bowers type of vibe. Like he's a physical tight end. He's fast. He's a little bit undersized, but he's fast. And he can get himself open. I think he's just another Tyler Warren's is a weapon that you can use. You can build kind of like the Raiders did. You can kind of build your offense around someone like Tyler Warren. Like Brock Bowers obviously is like he came out and he's putting up generational numbers already as a rookie. Like he put up the best tight end season as a rookie. He was an all pro. Like but Tyler Warren, he's a guy I'd watch. And also, like I said, Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson can come in and make an impact like Christian Gonzalez. Like I think he comes in immediate impact no matter where he goes.
Mhm.
And I think another obviously I think Genty will make an immediate impact wherever he goes too. So those guys, if you're a team that's looking in the draft for someone with immediate impact, corners are a good place to start, even though it's the hardest position. I just think I don't know. Obviously, I'm a little bit spoiled. Sauce had a bad year this year, but the first 2 years of Sauce Gardner, he was locked down. He was locked down for us. So
Indeed, indeed. Speaking of the Jets, how it feels, man, to just let go of guys. Man, how it feels. Tell Aaron Rodgers hit the old dusty
oh, it was
trail.
listen,
Devontae Adams, he had to get released.
this is what I'll say. Great start to the new coaching regime and GM regime. Get rid of Rodgers, let him go rot out his last couple years wherever he wants to go. Adams, I like Devontae Adams personally, but he's an expendable piece. He's old. If you're the Jets and Garrett Wilson is threatening, I think Garrett Wilson put a lot of pressure on the Jets organization by requesting that trade. They were like, "Oh shit, like we're about to lose like this
Our
guy
future.
has been yeah, like he's been our best receiver. Like he is on track to be the best Jets receiver like ever at this point throughout his first 3 years. If that type of guy is willing to test the open market, you do whatever he says to get him a deal. You keep that young core. You keep Brees Hall and you keep him and Sauce all together. You need to make sure that you have enough money to pay those three guys. At quarterback, listen, I was talking to Anthony about this the other day. I am okay. I am perfectly okay with starting Tyrod Taylor. I don't care. Throw Tyrod Taylor out there. Seriously,
Man says
I
throw
am perfectly
Tyrod
okay.
Taylor out
I am
there.
perfectly okay with starting Tyrod Taylor. We're at seven. We're at seven. Get an O lineman. Pick up Will Campbell. Finish out that. We need. It all starts with an O line. It starts with the running game and it starts with an O line.
Mhm.
Fashanu was great when he was in. I love Fashanu as our he was great. He got injured unfortunately end of the year, but he was good. I like him a lot. Put Will Campbell in there. That's a great foundational like right tackle.
Mhm.
He was his combine numbers were great. I looked at his combine numbers because he was the guy that I was looking at. He had a great combine. I and Brees Hall, if you give him any sort of an O line, man, he can explode at any time. And obviously, he had a bad year this year because we just had every Jet besides Garrett Wilson had a bad year. We just whatever. I think another thing we need to do is let Malachi Corley get some reps.
Okay, okay,
He's the
okay.
young guy that we didn't even put him on the field because we
Man,
were worried about Rodgers. We were running the team through Rodgers. That was a problem. And now that he's gone, it's a fresh start. I like it. I'm optimistic.
I know for me, seeing that Dak and CD restructure their contracts to open up $54 million in
Cowboys are in a good
salary
spot,
cap.
man. They are.
Like now you can make this deal work with Micah. Go ahead and get a deal done with Micah now before any other big known deals happen. Make this deal happen now. So you can secure him. You have no problems. After that, then we can focus on what we're gonna look at in the free agency and the draft. It's crazy because Stephen Jones said we're gonna be aggressive in free agency. But then Jerry Jones is like not looking too far into that free agents. But I think he need to really look at this free agency and get the players you need to get because we can't always rely on the draft there, man. Sometimes we have to really get these guys in the free agency pool. Like we need to beef up our line because, thank you, Zach Martin, for being a tremendous guard for us
Hall
in
of
your
Famer,
career.
bro.
Hall of
All
Famer, man. And I think we need to focus on the O line, majority of the O line, because skill guys, I can see us getting in the draft, getting some steals in the draft. Um, Depending on who we're gonna get at 12, we can go get Genty. If McMillan fall there, we can get McMillan. Depending on what direction we might want to go.
you should draft Genty, bro.
I would love Genty, but I can see the simple mistake. Lord, they almost turned out my microphone now. I can see the simple decision of we're going to the wide receiver one because
No,
that's the most important.
I can see that.
Yeah. And like
You-
that's the most important.
Y'all just need someone to complement CD Lamb. CD Lamb's obviously top five in the league, probably top
Yeah.
three. So if you get somebody next to him, that just again opens up the offense, makes it. Brandon Cooks, listen, Brandon Cooks, man, like he's getting old. Still a good receiver in my opinion. He's on his last couple of years in the league. Not a bad wide receiver three for you guys. I just yeah I wouldn't if I'm the Cowboys if I would use my first round pick on either a running back or wide receiver or an O lineman. Offense needs to be addressed. Defense is fine, honestly. You guys could use a few pieces, I think. Trayvon is on track to come back, right? Because he got
Mhm.
injured,
Yeah,
so he'll be back. And then like Micah's obvious. Like, yeah, you got to focus on getting Micah that deal because he's a guy that makes an impact on the defensive end, no matter where he is on the field.
yeah, because I feel like once you get the Michael deal done, then we gonna be okay. Now we ain't too stressing about like, oh, is it Michael feeling like he gonna sign to us? Is he not? What we gonna do?
Well,
Cut the panic out the way and just make a fucking deal.
there is one thing that happened recently that's gonna cause Micah's contract to go up, and that's Max Crosby signing that massive contract with the Raiders. So, and I know Micah's like a DN linebacker hybrid sort of, but I
I,
think if you're and you got to see what happens with Miles Garrett as well.
I think the Miles Garrett thing might be the more effective because like the Max Crosby is like, yeah, but is he really competing with like the Max Crosby? He's gonna look at guys like the TJ Watt, the Miles Garrett, that's always in his vision when they're trying to get Defensive Player of the Year. Not to say Max Crosby is some trash, because Max Crosby is fucking amazing. And that's a good fucking win for the Raiders to keep him long term. But I think Micah, if I'm Micah, if I know we want to win the Super Bowl, and I think this is just in general, if you're a team and you're trying to win the Super Bowl, you have to look at how the Eagles won the Super Bowl with the contracts they had and look at what these guys did. Like, they know they're gonna get their payday, but look, we trying to win a title. If I can be like, just sign me 20 a year, because you're gonna
Yeah,
have extra money in the salary cap. We can get this guy, we can get that guy, this guy, that guy. And they want my and do a 1 year deal. You don't have to go 2 years, 3 years. No, you can get 1 year deals for the most of the guys, and then see where we can end up at.
I mean this offseason is huge for you guys because now you have another factor in your division that's competing that you weren't expecting. Man,
Because
are now.
You have the Eagles that's defended Super Bowl champs. You have the Commanders that's still going to go out there and be aggressive with getting improving their team. Even though the Giants is right now, they are trying to find their identity, but I'm not going to write them off because in the NFC East, you never know who's going to really be great or
Gotta watch
good
out,
every
bro.
year.
Listen, the Giants, they got their wide receiver of the future already.
Yeah, like, but
So
that's why I
they
said like I can't write off the Giants because our division every year, it's like you never know who's going to be that team that's boom,
and
pop
it's like
out. And
every year there's always some in the draft, there's always like a guy that no one expects and nobody cares. Like Puka Nacua, for example. There's always the guy in the late rounds that comes out and just performs at a higher level than everyone else. And if you're that team that's lucky enough to take a chance on someone like that and they progress, you're set. Like you're set, man. It's just like the Rams like with I mean they got both Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua late in the draft and I mean, Cooper Cup's going to be leaving them, unfortunately, because, but they got Puka in the fifth round. Like, you just never know. You got to have your scouting like super deep and look into those like prospects that nobody's really looking at. I mean, obviously, there's less of a chance if you draft somebody late that they're going to produce at a big level, but you never know. You just never know. So the draft, like preparing for the draft for NFL teams is super important because you just never know who you're going to take. You never know how they're going to perform when you put them in your system. It's like Brock Purdy. Obviously, he had a little bit of a down year this year in San Francisco, but he didn't have all of his pieces, and he was the last pick. You just never know, man. You take a chance on somebody, they could bloom, become the next big star.
Indeed, man. So like, I all I want to happen this upcoming off season, man, is just us making moves, man. If we can make moves, that's great. If not, I'm okay with that, because I know we have to do something to get us in a better position. But before we go, man, you have any last words for the people though?
Um, shit. I mean, what game is it for the? It's like the NBA's on like what games? They're in the 60s now.
Yeah,
Games.
man. We're in the 63, 64 games, a couple of weeks out until we in the playoffs. Next month be playoffs. So, today's games, we have I mean, this slate today, I mean, it's not sexy. It's kind of like boring. But only game that's gonna really catch your eye is really the Knicks going against the Lakers. So that's really the game that's like, yeah, this is it. But every other game is like, but
That's a game.
tomorrow it looks tomorrow is gonna look kind of decent though.
Yeah, tomorrow. Let's see. Suns Nuggets will be decent. Kings Knicks Clippers are
Saturday might be it though.
yeah. Lakers Celtics. Yeah. Even the
Detroit
Pistons,
versus Golden
bro.
State, yeah.
Hey man,
Bucks
listen.
versus
Listen,
Magic.
before when we were talking about NBA, we moved on, but I wanted to mention, bro, the Pistons, man. What a resurgence! Like seriously, Cade Cunningham, all those pieces. They don't even have Jaden Ivey. Like all those pieces, they have just they have had one of the best like 1 year flips I've seen in a long time. Like they were the worst team in the league last year. Like maybe not the worst, but they were down there. Like what did they have? Like 16, 15 wins or something like that? Like they were in the dumps. And now look at them, six in the East, can move up too. They're a good, fun, young team to watch. If you're looking for a team to root for and you don't have a team, Pistons, they're up and coming, man. They got a good, solid young roster.
And
Or
for
the
any oh, and before we get off, I just want to let anybody know if you're watching this in New Orleans, you should go to the Pelicans game because tickets like $2 or $3 in the nosebleeds. Hey, I ain't saying if you got a date, you got to take it there, but hey,
Zion,
you
Zion's
got
been playing better. Zion's been playing better. You never know. You could see some crazy shit from him.
yeah, but the Pelicans trash, just like the
Oh, they're
Wizards.
trash. Yeah.
Garbage,
Ain't
but uh, But to conclude this episode, man, thank you for watching another episode of the Sport Aces podcast. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend, and tell a friend to tell a friend to share it. Again, I'm Chris Ortega, my boy,
Girl.
and we will see y'all next week.